God, that turned into something serious.
Like a double thing?
Yeah.
Man, that was a lot. Are you okay?
I'm fine. How are you doing, hun?
Oh my God, I'm hot. It's like 110 fucking degrees here.
Yes, we are broadcasting directly from hell this week.
Yeah.
So sorry that we have went to hell, but we're in hell. Well, I mean, it's hot as hell, so we might as well be in hell. I think this is what hell feels like.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Anyways, hi, honey. You ready to learn about the Bible?
I'm ready.
Yeah, we're going to learn more about Nehemiah today.
Okay, you're going to teach us?
I'm gonna tell y'all some stuff.
Exactly what's in there?
It's verbatim what's in the Bible.
Verbatim. Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty. I'm ready for it.
Okay, so if you don't remember, last time Nehemiah got tasked with helping to rebuild the wall in order to help keep the White Walkers out. And he started with repairing a shitty gate and then some other shitty gates that were around. And what?
I mean, we're already off course.
What? No.
There are no fine. White Walkers.
There are a lot of White Walkers. Normally they're called White Christian Nationalists, but we call them White Walkers.
Not in the Middle East.
Anyways.
Not even Jesus.
So, anyways, the local leadership wasn't really all that happy about the Jews wanting to repair this wall and keep out their friends, the White Walkers.
Racist.
And so they started just hurling a bunch of insults at the Jews.
Bitches.
It was probably a little bit more substantial than that.
Prudes.
Maybe. I don't know. Anyways, we're not going to go into any kind of anti-Semitic like jokes here, but you can just use your imagination. Anyways, Nehemiah prayed to God and then he was given clear indication as to what he needs to say. So he walked up to the guys who were hurling insults at him and was like, all right, guys, listen, I'm rubber and you're glue. Whatever you say to me bounces off and sticks to you. And
that's where it came from, the Bible?
It is.
Oh.
Yeah, it's exactly where it comes from. And I don't know how they knew what rubber or glue was at this time. But, you know, I'm sure they use glue at this point in time.
They didn't have to know, though, because if just God told them this is what you're to say.
It won't make sense now, Nehemiah, but it'll make sense to people reading this shit in the future, okay? All right, going. Anyways, he also wanted them to be captured as slaves, is what he said. So he said the rubber glue thing, and it was like, and you're going to get caught and put into slavery, or at least I hope you are, fuckers.
Rude.
That's one thing that you don't hear a lot of people saying now, you know?
I hope you get enslaved, you bitch.
Yeah. You don't hear
Damn,
that.
fuck.
Yeah, I know.
Like, that's excessive.
Like, how would that go down at the HOA?
I mean, I don't know. Maybe I was a little bit of an asshole, but fuck.
Can't you just imagine it? Some guy gets up there because he got a little note because of a little plant that was right next to his mailbox, but his neighbor has weeds growing like a motherfucker, and he's not like, now listen, I hope you motherfuckers get taken into slavery about this, okay?
Just like, for all the things that could possibly happen and all the insults you could say for like, I hope you are enslaved, that just seems like a punishment that does not match.
Right. All right. So, despite what Nehemiah said, these local leaders and everything like that, we could call them the Patriot Front. They got worse. Okay. They got a lot worse and they got more violent.
You know, that typically is what happens when there's a death knell
in
a power situation.
I agree. So anyways, the Jews, Nehemiah included, prayed more. But you know, one thing that was really kind of inhibiting it was the fact that the Jews were really bummed out because of all the insults and like violence being thrown their direction. They were just really kind of like kicking rocks, like, what's the point?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Anyways, Nehemiah decided to take action on all this and strategically placed a whole bunch of Jews with swords along the wall, and then proceeded to tell them to fuck anybody up that comes by and tries to fuck with them.
I mean, fair, right? We're just trying to do our fucking work. Leave us alone.
Right. So apparently they went in rotations. Half the time the guys would be working, and the other half of the time time the guys would be guarding. Like, well, half the men would be guarding while the other half was working, and then they'd switch and flip-flop and stuff. I'm sure they had like rounds they did or whatnot. Anyways, if they were attacked, they were gonna blow their grape whistle to call for help.
Trumpet.
Whatever, their grape whistle. Anyways, there was also a famine going on, and the Jewish people had to sell their children into debt slavery. And apparently Nehemiah just did not like that at all.
Well, I mean, I guess it depends on who's doing it, right? The problem was that the Jews were doing it to other Jews.
I mean, I kind of feel like selling children into slavery in general is bad.
I mean,
maybe that's just me.
Yeah, it's fine in the Bible. As long as it's not your own countrymen.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. And so they talked to Nehemiah about it, and he got really upset with all of the leaders of the Jews and stuff. And he told them to give everything back to him, which, you know, honestly, if Donald Trump was there, he'd be like, this is not a good deal. And I know bad deals. He makes them all the time. Anyways.
All he makes now is shit.
He better be making good deals in jail. Anyways. So they all agreed to it. It's like, yeah, this is kind of shitty for us to do. I'm sorry. Can you imagine like the walk back to your parents' house? And it's like, thank God Nehemiah came along to get me out of the debt slavery, Dad.
Fucking asshole.
Fuck you.
We're supposed to fucking respect you, but you sold me, you dick.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what he gets mad about? He gets mad when you tell him, hey, maybe you should put your phone down for a second. like suggesting that he needs to put his phone down so that he can like handle all of his, you know, whatever he's carrying to wherever. It's like, maybe put your phone down.
I need help carrying my dishes to the sink. No, you don't. You just need to put your phone down. You've got two hands.
Yeah. But just imagine Xander after we sold him into debt slavery and, you know, he was made to come back home. It's like, Dad, the fuck?
I swear though, whoever took him into debt slavery would send him back.
Yeah. I can't stand him. I don't know. He puts up a fight every single time. Like I tell him, wash the windows, and he's like, but why? And then he falls on the floor. I don't wanna. Anyways, all right. So after, you know, freeing all of the debt slave children and then giving all of the property back to the Jews who had property taken from them, he forced all of the local leaders and, you know, everything to like pinky swear on the threat of death that they'd never do it again. And of course they were like, yeah, sure, go ahead. And, you know,
while they had their fingers crossed behind their backs.
Yeah, I'm sure. They just had to wait for them to forget, you know, and then they could just do it again. Mm-hmm. So anyways, Nehi says, and this is a completely different chapter. And it kind of seems really weird, but Nehi goes into this really like masturbatory rant about how he never ate food from the governor and he never taxed people or something like that.
Well, he's the governor.
Well, I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, he never ate food that was for the governor or something like that. And he basically sacrificed a whole bunch of shit so that he could feed the Jewish people. And apparently, I mean, this is just an entire rant about how he likes to stroke his own ego about that kind of stuff. So anyways, there was this one particular enemy that Nehemiah and the Jews had, and his supervillain name was Sandblast. And Sandblast and the other enemies started scheming to fuck the Jews over, right? Well, Nehi was asked to come and meet with Sandblast and his goons, I guess, his little goon squad. But Nehi said, no, I'm not going to fall for it. I'm not going to go. Nehi knew it was a setup. So Sandblast was going to end up blackmailing him to Artie, you know, Artaxerxes or Xerxes, I don't know, whoever in the fuck is ruling this place right now. Mm-hmm. He was going to blackmail him and try to make it look like a coup. You know, I feel like this is a fever dream for fucking Donald Trump. But Anyways, Nehi blew him off, not in the usual way that I mean blew him, but Nehemiah blew him off because it just wasn't true, so he didn't really take him seriously. Fed up, Sandblast then hires a merc to hide in the temple because apparently that would piss God off and it was a sin. Well, Nehi saw through that shit real quick and kicked his ass out to the curb. Sandblast, getting desperate, decides then to write a whole bunch of letters to Nehemiah's wife, making it look like Nehemiah was stepping out on her, going around fucking everybody in town. But of course that didn't work, and Nehemiah prayed for his enemies because they're obviously fucking desperate. And then they completed the wall in 52 days, and Sandblast just sort of gave up and went back to whatever the fuck he was doing before.
What do you think Sandblast's superpowers would be like in the Middle East?
In the Middle East, that guy, he would be fucking legendary, okay? You got sand all around you. Sandblast obviously can manipulate sand in different ways, but not like Sandman and Spider-Man. It's more like, you know, like an earthbender from fucking Avatar. He can manipulate the sand and then he can... Have you ever seen a sandblast gun to like strip paint off of like a piece of metal or like go from like a rusty thing to like shiny and shit? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, can you just imagine having the power to control sand and be like... and just sandblast the skin off of somebody?
That sounds painful.
I mean, it sounds like people would definitely have known about him.
It also seems like if he didn't like Nehemiah, he should have just fucking sandblasted his skin off.
Yeah.
But he didn't do that. Probably because they had God's protection. I mean, the guys that they hired with the swords.
Yeah. But anyways, that's it for today. Hope you guys liked it.
No, I mean, we're going to have to go over the real thing because it really wasn't verbatim. I mean, you got the general story points, sort of, but we just need to, you know.
The main enemy, though, is Sandblast. Like, that's his name. They call him Sandblast.
It's not.
They probably call him Blasty for short.
They don't.
When he was a kid, he was known as Blasty Boy. What's up, heathens?
How y'all doing?
So obviously got some things wrong.
Yeah.
And Casey's going to need to correct me on a few things. So I appreciate the correction, and I'm here to learn.
It's not so much a correction because really, honestly, your version is way better and far more entertaining. I mean, I feel like this would be just a much better book if we could use your interpretation. Unfortunately, Christians don't appreciate your interpretation, or those who would get far enough to understand they don't appreciate your interpretation.
You mean comedy? They don't appreciate comedy?
I mean, I guess depending on the Christian. Some Christians appreciate comedy, but others not so much.
Okay.
So we're just going to read through the actual words that are here, the verbatim part.
I just want to say, rest in peace, Blasty Boy.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're starting with Nehemiah 4, and we're gonna. What are we doing? 4 through 6? Is that what we're doing today?
Yes.
Okay. So last time, they were repairing all of the gates. Yeah. Mm-hmm. They all had their little assignments: the dung gate and the horse gate and the fountain gate, and so we went through all of that bullshit last time. So the local authorities were not pleased about all this, but they couldn't really do anything about it because you remember, Artaxerxes gave all of them authority to do this, and Nehemiah was made the governor and of the area during this time, and so they really didn't have a choice but to just deal with it. But they weren't going to make it easy for him, right?
Right.
Okay, so are you ready to start Nehemiah 4?
Oh, my butthole is puckered.
Okay, Sanballat. His name is Sanballat. Okay,
I'm not hearing that much of a difference from what I called him. I mean, everybody listening right now just thought, wait, that's Sandblast. Like, they know. Just saying. Sorry, I'll let you continue. I know this is your section.
What? No, I mean, you're still the most entertaining part of this section. When Sanballat heard that we were rebuilding the wall, this is from Nehemiah's perspective, okay? Mm-hmm. When he heard that we were rebuilding the wall, he became angry and was greatly incensed. He ridiculed the Jews, and in the presence of his associates in the army of Samaria, he said, "What are those feeble Jews doing? Will they restore their wall? Will they they offer sacrifices? Will they finish in a day? Can they bring the stones back to life from those heaps of rubble, burned as they are? To be fair, this is a good point. Will they finish the wall in a day? I mean, it seems like God's on their side. That should be able to just happen. In fact, they shouldn't have to do any of the fucking work at all. God should just be able to be like, walls, right? And it'd be done.
Yes, definitely.
There's got to be some sort of fucking spell for that.
I mean, yeah, like, see, it would have to be something like Trump related, like Wall Leviosa. It's the best I got right now. It's like, that's really shit, John.
So Tobiah the Ammonite, who was at his side, the Sandblast side, right?
Yeah.
Said what they are building, even a fox climbing up on it would break down their wall of stone. So they're basically saying this is stupid. It's basically a wall of dust. They're ridiculous, right? So Nehemiah and the people, they pray about this, right? So he says, "Hear us, our God, for we are despised. Turn their insults back on their own heads." This is I'm rubber, your glue, right?
Yeah.
"Give them over as a plunder in a land of captivity. Make them slaves. Do not cover up their guilt or blot out their sins from your sight, for they have thrown insults in the face of the builders." So we rebuilt the wall till all of it reached half its height, for the people worked with all their heart. But when Sanballat, Tobiah, the Arabs, and the Ammonites and the people of Ashdod heard that the repairs to Jerusalem's walls had gone ahead and that the gaps were being closed, they were very angry. They all plotted together to come and fight against Jerusalem and stir up trouble against it. But we prayed to our God and posted a guard that day at day and night to meet this threat. Meanwhile, the people in Judah said, "The strength of the laborers is giving out, and there is so much rubble that we cannot build the wall." Also, our enemies said, "Before they know it or see us, we will be right there among them, and we will kill them and put an end to the work." So they think that their enemies are going to come and kill them while they're working.
Right.
Okay, so they're discouraged. Plus, I mean, their enemies who were talking about how fucking much rubble this wall is in and how ridiculous it is that they'll rebuild it, they're not totally wrong, right? At least as far as the story goes, they're not totally wrong. This wall's fucked. So the workers, they're tired and they're just getting restless and they're concerned that they're going to be killed. So they're not doing too well mentally. So the Jews who lived near them came and told us 10 times over, "Wherever you turn, they will attack us." Therefore, I stationed some of the people behind the lowest points of the wall at the exposed places, posting them by families with their swords, spears, and bows. After I looked things over, I stood up and said to the nobles, the officials, and the rest of the people, "Don't be afraid of them. Remember the Lord who is great and awesome, and fight for your families, your sons and your daughters, your wives and your homes." When our enemies heard that we were aware of their plot and that God had frustrated it somehow, I feel like it was more frustrated by the fact that they posted guards with swords and shit.
Yeah.
Okay. We all returned to the wall, each to our own work. From that day on, half of my men did the work, while the other half were equipped with spears, shields, bows, and armor. The officers posted themselves behind all the people of Judah who were building the wall. Those who carried materials did their work with one hand and held a weapon with the other, and each of the builders wore his sword at his side as he worked. But the man who sounded the trumpet stayed with me. Then I said to the nobles, the officials, and the rest of the people, "The work is extensive and spread out, and we are widely separated from each other along the wall. Whenever you hear the sound of the trumpet, join us there. Our God will fight for us." This also makes no sense to me, because if your God was fighting for you, you wouldn't need all the fucking people to come and fight with you.
Yeah, I mean, considering what God has done in the past, you would think that he would have something a bit more spectacular than, "Hey guys, just take your swords out and fight them."
I mean, I don't know, like a smoke cloud or a fire fucking wall or some shit. He could put a wall of fire around this bitch.
Yeah, he could.
I mean, didn't he lead the Israelites out of Egypt with a fucking pillar of fire?
Yeah.
So
and I mean, imagine how weird it is to see like a construction crew that has to be armed the entire time. Let's just say that you're a construction crew working downtown or something like that, and it's like, "Oh, hey dude, why do you have an AR-15 strapped to your back and a pistol on your hip?" "Oh, that's in case we get attacked." "By who?" "Oh, you know,
the locals,
them."
our enemies.
The people that want to kill us, you know. I mean, that's just, I don't know. It seems rather surreal to me that, for one, if God is really doing something or is protecting them or whatever, why can't he do something that doesn't require them to actually do all of the hard work?
Yeah.
And 2, I don't think construction crews need to have weapons.
Well, apparently this one did.
Yeah.
So we continued the work with half the men holding spears from the first light of dawn till the stars came out. At that time, I also said to the people, have every man and his helper stay inside Jerusalem at night so they can serve us as guards by night and as workers by day. And that's not, when did they sleep?
I don't know. They would have to they'd have to divvy up like the
Shifts.
workforces, into shifts and stuff. And I would hope that if you work like construction one day, you were on guard the next day. Like I would hope that you would like trade off.
Doesn't sound like that's what they're doing, but that would make more sense.
Yeah.
Neither I nor my brothers nor my men nor the guards with me took off our clothes. That's fucking random.
Yeah.
Did you need to take off your clothes for something?
I mean, these people, they fucking strip naked for like, dramatic reasons.
Each had his weapon even when he went for water, which I mean is fair. I can understand. Down here in the South, you can't go to Starbucks to get a coffee without a gun. So,
right.
Yeah. Now, the men and their wives raised a great outcry against their fellow Jews. Some were saying, we and our sons and daughters are numerous. In order for us to eat and stay alive, we must get grain. There is a famine at this time. I think we're going to get there. Anyway, others were saying, we are mortgaging our fields and our vineyards and our home to get grain during the famine. There we go. Still, others were saying, we have had to borrow money to pay the king's tax on our fields and vineyards. Although we are of the same flesh and blood as our fellow Jews, and though our children are as good as theirs, yet we have to subject our sons and daughters to slavery. Some of our daughters have already been enslaved, but we were powerless because our fields and our vineyards belonged to others. See, they enslaved the daughters first.
Right.
Mm-hmm. When I, Nehemiah, heard their outcry and these charges, I was very angry. I pondered them in my mind and then accused the nobles and officials. I told them, you are charging your own people interest. Damn it.
Fuck, you're not supposed to do that.
You're not supposed to charge your friends interest when you give them a loan. You're just not. That's wrong. Don't charge your family. Don't charge, and they're all family. So don't charge them interest. So that was against the rules. So I called together a large meeting to deal with them and said, as far as possible, we have bought back our fellow Jews who were sold to the Gentiles. Now you are selling your own people only for them to be sold back to us? They kept quiet because they could find nothing to say. So I continued, what you are doing is not right. Shouldn't you walk in fear of our God to avoid the reproach of our Gentile enemies? I and my brothers and my men are also lending these people money and grain, but let us stop charging interest. Give back to them immediately their fields, vineyards, olive groves, and houses, and also the interest you're charging them. 1% of the money, grain, new wine, and olive oil. So, which is weird. I don't know if you've ever known banks to do some shit like this, but they said, we'll give it back. You will?
Yeah, that seems like something if they would have taken it in the first place, I don't think they would have just given it back like, oh, silly me.
Hell, slave owners in the U.S. South didn't just give it back. Like they were given reparations for their property loss.
Right. They were given reparations. And then later on with the whole segregation thing, states didn't just immediately, desegregate the schools and stuff.
Yeah.
They
and
when
I just want to be clear because you can't see me when I said property loss, I used air quotes.
Oh, okay.
Property loss.
Yeah.
Yeah. People. They owned people.
But the slaves didn't get anything. They just got their freedom.
No. The slave owners were given reparations.
Yeah.
So, okay. Let's see. So we'll give it back and we will not demand anything more from them. We will do as you say. Then I summoned the priests and made the nobles and officials take an oath to do what they had promised. I also shook out the folds of my robe and said, in this way may God shake out their houses and possessions of anyone who does not keep this promise. So may such a person be shaken out and emptied. But he used a visual of him shaking out his own robe. In this way, God will shake you out if you don't fucking do this.
Right.
At this, the whole assembly said, Amen, and praised the Lord, and the people did as they had promised. Moreover, from the 20th year of King Artaxerxes, when I was appointed to be their governor in the land of Judah until his 32nd year, 12 years, neither I nor my brothers ate the food allotted to the governor, which is him, right? But the earlier governors, those preceding me, placed a heavy burden on the people and took 40 shekels of silver from them in addition to the food and wine. Their assistants also lorded it over the people, but out of reverence for God, I did not act like that. Instead, I devoted myself to the work on this wall. All my men were assembled there for the work, and we did not acquire any land. We haven't read this yet, but John kind of mentioned it in the little summary. He talks about how he was governor for 12 years and did all these things for 12 years and how he devoted himself to this wall.
Mm-hmm.
The wall was done in 52 days.
Yeah.
The fuck did you do for the rest of the time?
Yeah, I have no idea, but it seems rather like dramatic, I guess is the word I was looking for.
I don't know. I just think it's interesting because it's like I devoted myself. Instead I devoted myself to the work on this wall, and right above it he talks about how he was there for 12 years, and then he's like, I devoted myself. I didn't lord over the people. I devoted myself to this wall for 52 days of 12 years. Okay, Nehemiah. All right. Furthermore, 150 Jews and officials ate at my table, as well as those who came to us from the surrounding nations. Each day, 1 ox, 6 choice sheep, and some poultry were prepared for me, and every 10 days an abundant supply of wine of all kinds. In spite of all this, I never demanded the food allotted to the governor because of the demands were heavy on these people. Remember me with favor, my God, for all I have done. Ugh, could you stroke it any more? When word came out to Sandblast, Tobiah, Geshem, and the Arab and the rest of our enemies that I had rebuilt the wall, and not a gap was left in it, though up to that time I had not set the doors and the gates, Sandblast and Geshem sent me this message: Come, let us meet together in one of the villages on the plain of Ono. But they were scheming to harm me, so I sent messages to them with this reply: I am carrying on a great project and cannot go down. Why should the work stop when while I leave it and go down to you? 4 times they sent me the same message, and each time I gave them the same answer. Then the 5th time, Sandblast sent his aide to me with the same message, and in his hand was an unsealed letter in which was written: It is reported among the nations, and Geshem says it is true, that you and the Jews are plotting to revolt, and therefore you are building the wall. Moreover, according to these reports, you are about to become their king and have even appointed prophets to make this proclamation about you in Jerusalem. There is a king in Judah. Now this report will get back to the king. So come, let us meet together. Dick. I sent him this reply: Nothing like what you are saying is happening. You are just making it up out of your head. They were all trying to frighten us, thinking their hands will get too weak for the work and it will not be completed. But I prayed, now strengthen my hands. Okay, so he can stroke it harder, I guess.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
Stroke it harder. Just to emphasize, sorry.
One day, I went to the house of Shemaiah, son of Delaiah, the son of Mehetabel, who was shut in at his home. He said, Let us meet in the house of God inside the temple, and let us close the temple doors, because men are coming to kill you. By night they are coming to kill you. But I said, Should a man like me run away, or should someone like me go into the temple to save his life? I will not go. I realized that God had not sent him, but that he had prophesied against me because Tobiah and Sandblast had hired him. He had been hired to intimidate me so that I would commit a sin by doing this, and then they would give me a bad name to discredit me. This all seems so conspiratorial, but okay. Also in those days, the nobles of Judah were sending many letters to Tobiah, and replies from Tobiah kept coming to them. For many in Judah were under oath to him, since he was the son-in-law to Shechaniah, son of Era, and son of Jehohanan, and married the daughter of Meshullam, son of Berechiah. Apparently that's impressive. Moreover, they kept reporting to me his good deeds and then telling him what I said, and Tobiah sent letters to intimidate me. Remember Tobiah and Sanballat, my God, because of what they have done. Remember also the prophet Noadiah, and how she and the rest of the prophets have been trying to intimidate me. So the wall was completed on the 25th of Elul in 52 days. When all our enemies heard about this, all the surrounding nations were afraid and lost their self-confidence because they realized this work had been done with the help of God. I really don't understand how that would be a conclusion. They had guards posted, they did the work. Where was God in all of this?
I don't know.
I don't either. I don't get it. Anyway, that's all for today.
Okay.
Yes. So next time we're going to start just following the completion of the wall. Okay. In Nehemiah 7.
Okay.
There's going to be a population redistribution. Okay.
Okay.
All right. There's going to be somebody new appointed as a commander in this area. They're going to come up with gate regulations. Okay.
Okay.
Underpopulation was a problem. We're going to talk a little bit about the genealogical record. And there are like 6 pages worth of the list of the men of Israel. That'll be fun.
Nice.
And an account, not just a list, but account, a list and account. Some the temple servants are just listed. There's not a count. Well, I guess there is later, but they're going to do that. And then they're going to talk about the redistribution plan and resettle leaders. And then they're going to go through each of the groups and how they're going to be settled. God, this is going to be boring. And then they're going to make record of other settlements. And there's going to be more lists of names and families. They're also going to go through the Levitical heads. So
lists of people is fun in the Bible, huh?
Oh my God, it's going to be miserable. Anyway, yay, next time on the Bible.
Yay!
We get to go through names like Joyarib.
Joyarib?
Yes. And, oh my goodness, you ready for this one?
Uh-huh.
Amok.
I gotta tell you, I enjoy ribs, so I can only imagine that guy probably really likes them too. But anyways, if y'all want to hear the funny ass names that we read out next time, then I guess you'll have to tune in next week. Mm-hmm. So, but before today, why don't you guys go down there and let us know what you thought about this Bible podcast? And while you're down there, why don't you smash that like button and subscribe if you like Bible study podcast things like this.
Yeah. And in the meantime, don't forget to stand up and use your voice.
Bye, heathens.
Bye, y'all.